Hi, everybody. Miss Wade here. I am going to go over a little bit more about solving exponential functions. So yesterday you guys learned about isolating the power and trying to get things with the same base. And if you can't, you have to log both sides. So this is more of what we're going to do today. So when you have a power in an equation, so an exponential equation, and you have a bunch of other stuff with it, what you want to try to do is isolate that before you apply all the rules that we learned. So in this case, I'm going to write it on these little lines. So the strategy is to isolate the power. Okay. So there's a -3 there, so I'm going to divide both sides by -3. And so then that gives me 5 to the 2x equals negative or positive 16. Okay. And then you want to try to rewrite with the same base. Well, a 5 and a 16, there's no way I can do that. So like we showed you the other day, if you cannot rewrite them with the same base, your only option is to log both sides. So when you log both sides, I'm going to rewrite this so it's a little neater. It's a little squished over here. You're going to apply your properties. So this 2x, because it's an exponent, comes in front. So I'm going to get 2x log 5 equals log 16. Okay? And then at this point, I want to divide. So you're going to simplify. I'm going to rewrite this here. Now, one thing to keep in mind with these problems, I know it looks really weird, but think about it. Log 5 and log 16, those are just numbers. They're just decimals. Now, you could also do log base 5, and that works as well. I know that Miss Z's answer key has it like that, and that's great. There's nothing wrong with that. I usually don't want to think about what base log I do, so I just do log base 10. So then I take 2 and log 5, so log base 10 of 5 times 2 gives me 1.397, et cetera, x. I'm going to leave it in my calculator when I simplify this, right? So then I want to solve for x. And I always try to leave the decimals in my calculator so I don't have as much rounding error. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this log 5 again times 2 so that I have the whole decimal in my calculator. Then I'm going to do log 16 divided by, whoa, my calculator's died. Woo, that wasn't good. Log 16 divided by, I'm just going to do it like this, log 5, or I'm going to do 2 times, sorry about that. There we go. 2 times log 5. There we go. So that gives me x is equal to 0.86. Boom, there it is. Okay. When Miss C posts the answer key for all of the classes, you'll see that what she did log base 5. And so then those cancel, and you'll just get 2x equals log 16. But then you have to remember to do the correct log, which is completely fine. I always just do log base 10 and then just do the decimals. All right. So why don't you guys take a pause and try doing this one, and then come back and I'll show you to make sure you're right. Go ahead and take a pause and give that one a try. It's very similar. Okie dokie. Hopefully you guys tried that. Welcome back. So I'm going to isolate this. I'm going to divide by -3, which gives me 8 to the 8m equals 11. Now, there's no way I can do the same base here. So I'm going to log both sides. And you can either do log base 10, which is what I'm going to do, or log base 8, which would make it a little simpler, but it doesn't really matter. I can show you both. Okay, so this is just a number. I'm going to divide my calculator. So I'm going to do log 11 equals divided by 8 times log 8, and that gives me 0.144. Okay. By the way, if you wanted to do the log base 8, which is what the answer key shows, let me show you that real fast. Then remember, those would cancel. But then you need to do change of base. So you would do log of 11 over log of 8 and then divide by 8, which is essentially the same thing. So it doesn't really matter which way you do it. They all lead to the answer. Yay. Okay. On this one, when I want to isolate the power here, remember there's a -1 there. Okay. So you're going to divide by -1, which gives you 6 to the x equals 61. One more time, I cannot write these with the same base. So I'm going to do just log base 10. And I'm going to bring my power in front. And so then this one is just log of 61 over log of 6. So when I do that, log of 61 divided by log, of 6, I get 2.29. All right, so the ones down here at the bottom, instead of having to divide by something, in these two cases, you need to isolate by either adding or subtracting. So I'm going to show you this one, and then hopefully you can pause and try the other one on your own, and then we'll double check and see if you got it right. Okay, I'm going to -3. And so I get 18 to the 4x minus 6 equals 51. Now, once again, 18 and 51, there's no way I can do the same base. So what I need to do is I need to log both sides. So I'm going to log. This power comes down. Now, because it's an expression, I would make sure to use parentheses so you don't mess up. And remember, this looks all complicated, but log 18 and log 51, those are just decimals. It's just numbers. Okay, so there's a couple different ways you could do this here. You can distribute the decimal to these two terms and then solve. I feel like that's a lot of extra work. I don't like to do that. I like to divide first, and I can do that because this is being multiplied. So I like to divide first, and then this gives me one decimal instead of having to distribute a decimal. I feel like that's a little cleaner, but it's not wrong to do it the other way. So that gives me 1.36. See how it's a little easier to just deal with one decimal rather than put this decimal to all of these and have a decimal here. It's like a decimal party, and I hate decimals, so I don't know what to tell you. Okay, so now I'm going to add 6. So I get 4x equals 6, 7.36, and then divide by 4. and I get 1.84. All right, why don't you pause the video right now and give this one a try. It's the same steps practically. Okay, give it a try. Okay, welcome back. It always feels weird to say that when I'm recording, but hopefully you guys actually stopped it. Zoom teaching is weird. All right, so I have 10 and I have 0. Now you could write 0. Oh no, 10 to any power is not going to be 0, so you can't do that. All right, anyway, let's log both sides. And when I do that, this comes down in front. Now I want you guys to think for a sec. You guys know that the log function has a domain of 0 to infinity. Log of 0 is actually undefined because 0 is not in the domain, which means this right here is undefined. So there is no solution. Okay, so you need to be careful with that just because you know that the domain is 0 to infinity, so this doesn't have a value. If you can't really remember that, I mean, just put it in your calculator and it says error domain because it's not in the domains. That's the error that you get on your calculator. All right, well, hopefully that made sense. Good luck with all your solving. See you soon.